Welcome back to the Gobby Gapper and part 9 of this season's Grassroots to Gold Boots here at Rochdale AFC. And after last season's brilliant promotion and going up as champions and the shiny silverware, we now have to get stuck in to Sky Bet League 2. And believe me, after what I've witnessed here, this is going to be a difficult season, I think. But before we get into all the rules and regulations, FFP and all of that kind of thing, yes, it's going to affect us quite badly, I think. But anyway, let's get stuck in, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my own season review, and let's just have a look at one or two of the outstanding performances from last season. Tyrese Sinclair, as we know, super striker. After I moved him off that left wing to, right up front, he had an absolutely brilliant season. 40 appearances, 28 goals, 6 assists, 9 player of the match, 7.34. Absolutely stunning season, and yes, eventually I went in for him with a new contract, and eventually he said, yes boss, and now we've got promoted, I'm quite happy to stay. So we've got Tyrese Sinclair now tied down to a contract. J. Neil Bennett was one of my signings on that right wing. Absolutely brilliant player. He's a 4-star player, and let's just have a quick look at what he did last season. 31 appearances, 6 goals, 8 assists, 4 player of the matches, 7.25, and he came in from Brentford on a free transfer. But these players are the reason why we kind of maintained all season and ended up as champions. Obviously need to give a big shout out to Oscar Kelly. I know I keep saying it, but he's only 17. He's now, even in this league, he's a 3-star with the potential to be 4.5. If we have a look at his stats for last season, bearing in mind for most of the season he was only 16, 34 appearances, 4 goals, 8 assists, 1 player a match, 6.92. This kid's only going to get better. And definitely one to watch out for this season is George Neve. He's only 18 years old. He's meant to be a centre-back, but he is actually only 5'10". So I've got him he's training actually as a full-back, wing-back on that left-hand side. Obviously left-footed, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Only made 19 appearances last season, but got 3 assists and a 6.80 for an 18-year-old. Not bad at all. Tommy McDermott, the younger 19-year-old, again, we are, whether this is right or wrong, I don't know, but we are trying to build quite a young squad here, and I think in a good few seasons, this squad will be probably one of the best in a division, whichever division that is. But Tommy McDermott, we had him on loan, absolutely brilliant midfielder. So yeah, playing for us, 23 appearances, 7 goals, 6 assists, 1 player a match, 7.12, and we have managed to get him back on loan again. Devante Rodney, a little bit of an unsung hero, I think. He was playing up front as a striker for us before he decided to move Sinclair there, but he got quite a few goals early doors and then it all dried up. Moved him onto the left-hand side. He made 37 appearances, 13 goals, 6 assists, 6 player of the matches, 7.04 overall rating. Sonny Hilton was a very important player for us. One of my signings. If we just have a quick look at his stats, 15 appearances, 7 goals, so not a bad return. 7 goals, 3 assists, 3 player of the matches, 7.27. So really important signing for us, Sonny Hilton. Unfortunately, at the moment, he's out injured. And lastly, it just goes to show the calibre of player that we have here. I mean, Cheggers, I did rename him. I couldn't get my tongue round his name, to be quite honest. The right winger got a really bad injury. I thought he was going to be out for the whole season. He eventually came back. But the games that he did play for us, 18 appearances, 4 goals, 5 assists, 2 player of the match, 7.08. So I suppose you would expect the core of that team to have really good overall ratings because we ended up as champions and like I say, you would expect them to, but I mean, that's the essence of it, isn't it? All of these players all gelled together and formed a really good unit. The issue is that a lot of the players that played for us last season were out of contract at the end of that season and had to make some difficult decisions about who are retained, who are let go. Goalkeeper, bit of a problem area. Louis Molden, who we had on loan. I don't know whether he was the greatest goalkeeper. He actually went back off his loan at the end of the season. I just had a quick look and he's now only a 2.5-star goalkeeper in this standard of league with no potential really. So maybe that was a problem, I don't know. Centre-backs, we brought in Sam Graham. I have let most of my centre-backs go. Spoiler, we're going to have a look at transfers very shortly. But the centre-back position really needed strengthening. In this league, are we going to do okay? I don't know. I mean, let's just have a quick look. So before I did any signings, the media prediction was basically 23rd and to get relegated. And now the media seem reasonably impressed with the signings I've made, and we're 25-1 to finish in 11th place. Gateshead, who came up with us, yes, it was Gateshead eventually, not Chesterfield. Gateshead came up with us, and they are predicted to get relegated. We don't have any players in the media Dream 11, and we do have to scroll fairly well down to find a couple of players. Tyrese Francois, I'll just show you the transfers in a second. He has come in as a central midfield player, and obviously J. Neil Bennett as well. I'm a little bit surprised that Tyrese Sinclair's not in there. Maybe the media are thinking he can't make the step up. I've given him a new contract. We'll find out very soon, won't we? Okay, strap yourself in. There's quite a few transfers to talk about. I think team cohesion for the first half a dozen games or so is not going to be great. We'll have a look at that in a second. But I don't think it's going to be great because there's a lot of new players in there. So the first one that came in on a free transfer, Dominic Bernard, and he is going to play right wing back for us. He can play centre back, but he's only 5'11", and I do like my centre backs, particularly in this league. I do like them to be tall lads. So he's going to play on that right hand side. I am not going to read any stats out as per usual, but I think he'll do a decent job for us. As you know, last season we had Keoane in there. He actually dropped down to like a 2-star in this league, so we'll let him go. The other lad that we were playing at fullback was on loan, and he went back. So I've signed a couple of new right fullbacks. Tyrese Francois, we've already spoken about him. He is in actually the key players in the media Dream 11. So he's a 3.5-star with the potential to be 4. Got very, very good stats. Going to play in that central midfield role, and hopefully he can do a little bit of creating for us. He can get his foot in, which is ideal. 25-year-old Louis Baines has come in, left-footed centre-back. He's 6 foot. I would have liked him to be a bit taller, but I was really struggling to find 6'3", 6'4" centre-backs. I don't know, it's a bit of a strange one. Normally they're quite easy to find, but unfortunately this transfer window, not so much. But Louis Baines there, again, very good stats, I think, 6 foot tall. He's only a 2.5-star with the potential to be 3. He's not going to be a long-term centre-back for us, but hopefully he'll do a job. I've already spoken about Tommy McDermott. Yes, we've got him back on loan. 3-star with the potential to be 4.5. He's only 19 year old, this kid. But I have been playing him as like an attacking mid, but he can play in the centre as well. I've actually beefed up that centre midfield department, and I have actually got a transfer on the go at the moment for another one. So with the problems that we had at the end of last season with Louis Molden basically breaking himself, and I think Jordan Smith and Lewis Thomas are going to share the goalkeeping role this season. Let's do a little bit of swapping around. They're both 3.5-star, 4-star players, both very good goalkeepers. So to keep them both happy, I will be rotating them. Hopefully we don't get any injuries in that department, but at least we've got 2 really good goalkeepers now. Another free transfer. You can see the theme here, can't you? Yeah. More about the finances in a second. But Another free transfer, a left-footed centre-back again, 6'2" this lad, and he's actually come straight in and he's gone straight into being the captain. I've put him on a leadership course. I think this lad's going to be very, very good for us going forward, even if we can get into Sky Bet League One. Definitely, I think he will carry us forward. But 22-year-old Bryant Akono Balongo. A bit of a mouthful, but Balongo, I can do that. That's fine. But I think he will be very, very good for us. And we actually have two left-footed centre-backs to call on. And the first one of those are young kids that I took on like a trial basis from the Premier League clubs who had released them, and it's Jim Sims, 20-year-old, but he's a 2.5 star with the potential to be 4.5 star striker. So I think he will get some game time this season. I have brought another striker in, but I definitely think he will get some game time because there's a lot of league games to play in this division. There's obviously quite a few cup games to. I don't know how the authorities expect teams to play all of these games in a season. I mean, it's unsustainable to be playing 2 games every week. It's just not right at all. And sometimes you play a game, have a day off, play another game. I mean, it's going to break players, isn't it? It's going to break players. And it's no wonder professional managers are complaining about the workload. Okay, now we actually paid a little bit of money. 90,000. Oh my word, I'm getting a nosebleed. Yep, £90,000. And it's Kendra Simmons. I have had my eye on this lad. He's been recommended to me quite a few times. Unfortunately, at the time, we couldn't afford him. But this lad, I think he's going to do all right for us. He can play attacking mid, shadow striker. He can play up front, either wings. Really useful player. And at least I'll be able to give Tyrese Sinclair a rest now and again. And also, there's a lot of rotation options, left wing and right wing. Now, I did say about the problems trying to sign really tall centre-backs. And, eventually I signed a 5'11" centre-back, right-footed, Sam Shearing, 24 years old. Again, we've got 4 centre-backs now. None of them are massively tall, which I think is a big problem in the lower leagues. But they're just not there. Like I say, 6'3", 6'4" centre-backs. It's very, very difficult to find them. Well, particularly on the budget that we've got. Maybe if I had the money and I could buy them, then fine. But on free transfers, very, very difficult. Jack Morehouse, another one of those players that was released by the Premier League clubs. He's only 18 years old, but he's a 2.5 with the potential to be 5-star, this kid. And if you look at his stats at the age that he is, he's 5'11", so I think there's a bit more growing to do there. But I think he will be, a great player for us going forward. He has asked to go out on loan, so we've got him listed at the moment. So I don't think you're going to see very much of him, but he's a player for the future, basically. Back to the right fullback, wingback role. So we have 2 really good players in there. Now Kyle John is the next one through the door. 23-year-old right fullback. Again, stats looking really good. 3.5 star with the potential to be 4. So we've got that right back berth nailed down now. But as we know, Football Manager, at the moment, Football Manager is concentrating on the attacking midfielder role. So Oscar Kelly out injured for about 5 weeks. The McDermott who can play there, he's a suspended, red card suspended. And the other player who can play in there, Sonny Hilton, he's actually out injured as well. So I have 3 players who can play in that one spot, and they've all been taken out of the game. So like I say, every now and again, Football Manager will concentrate on a position, and it's usually wingers or fullbacks I usually find. But let's hope we don't get too many injuries. And the last one for now on the free transfer again. Yes, we've only paid money for 1 player in this transfer window, but it's another one of these 18-year-old kids released by Premier League teams, and it's Harrison Dudziak, and 18-year-old midfield player, 2-star with the potential to be 5. He's listed for loan as well. So for now, that's all the incomings. Obviously, there have been a lot of outgoings, but we haven't really generated any money from that. It's just been end of contracts and they just left the club. And I've been reasonably happy to do that because we needed to step up in a better division. And I think we've done that. We have to cut our cloth as per usual. It's a favourite saying of mine, but we do have to cut our cloth with the amount of money that we've not got really, compared to teams like Wrexham, who've got players in their team worth 6-7 million. So we do have to cut our cloth. While we're talking about the finances, so took me a little bit of time to get my head around it, but if I've understood it right, so if you remember, we were given 51,000 as a wage budget by the board. Okay, fine. But we can't spend that. It's against the law. FFP. So it seems as though, if I've got it right, it seems as though you can only spend on wages 50 to 55% of your turnover. I think that's how it works out. So just looking in the finances section under FFP, the regulations state that we have to keep wage expenditure below 36,500 a week, a long way off the 51,000 the board gave me. So why did they give me 51,000? Go figure, I don't know. At the moment now, with the way things are, we're spending 34,000, so we can go another 2,000. I have got a player coming in. I'll show him in a second. Well, hopefully he comes in. But this is going to be the problem, I think. You know, the bigger teams in the league with bigger turnovers, that wage figure is probably going to reach 50, 60,000 or something like that, because of our low turnover and our season ticket sales for this season, even though we've got promoted, not great. And I think this maybe shows you that, in real life, why Rochdale are struggling and have struggled for many years. The turnover just isn't there. The fans coming through the turnstiles just not there. And this is a big problem, because if we're now, our lives these days are ruled by FFP, and if those FFP rules are broken, then obviously you get massive sanctions. But it certainly doesn't help a club the size of Rochdale when we've actually moved up a division, but we have a salary cap. Basically, that's what it is. And if we look in the squad registration, the maximum squad size, so in the Premier League it's 25. In this division it's only 22. So at the moment, again, players of the age of 20 or younger on the 1st of the 1st 2024 do not have to be registered. So at the moment I've got 19 out of 22 players, but we have got George Nevitt, Tommy McDermott, Oscar Kelly. There's a very young striker there, and Jim Sims as well, who are all kind of helping me out, if you will, with the squad size, because all of those players don't really need to be registered. And we just have a quick look at the squad planner and squad depth. This actually shows up quite nicely now. This is becoming my team now. So we've got 2 goalkeepers, and we have 6 players who can play fullback, 5 players on the right, 6 players who can play centre-back, 4 DMs, 10 centre mids, 10 attacking mids, 10 left-sided, 7 right-sided wingers, and 6 who can play striker. Obviously, those will be kind of duplicated amongst the squad, but we have got some very, very good squad depth there now, and that means I can do a lot of rotation, which I am going to need this season. Dynamics not looking too bad. Team cohesion is average. I would expect that. Hopefully, as the season goes on, that will get better. Club atmosphere is very good. Currently one unhappy player at the club, and that is Devante Rodney, because he thinks he's not doing enough strength training. I mean, my word, these players do get big for the boots, don't they? I've actually put him on strength training. Has it cheered him up? Not one bit of it. But managerial support is good, so there's no grumbles in managerial support. The tactic, we're going to use the same 3 tactics that we used last season that did us reasonably proud. We do need to stop the ball hitting the back of the net in our goal, basically. Whether we can do that in a higher division, I don't know. only time will tell. But I've decided to stay with the 3 tactics. And medical centre, we only have one long-term injury. Oscar Kelly, when he got his injury, he was out for 5 weeks. He's got 2 weeks of that to go. So hopefully he'll come back, and it's a pulled calf muscle. I mean, at his age, he should be able to recover quite easily. So a quick look at the schedule. I've had quite a lot of easy friendlies in there. I didn't want to put us under too much pressure, given that we had a lot of new players in there. They're all finding their feet, trying to learn the way that we play. So we had a reasonable pre-season, although we have conceded 1 goal in every game. So if that carries on through the season, then we're going to have to score at least 2 goals in every game. And in this league, that won't be easy. But we have very shortly now, well, tomorrow actually, we've got MK Dons away as the first game of the season, and they are predicted to get promoted in 3rd place. So that's a very, very tough baptism. And straight into the Caribou Cup, first round, and we've got an away tie against QPR. Don't you just love it when you get the big teams early doors? Not really, no. And as you can see, well, we're in 3 cup competitions, which we need like a hole in the head, to be honest. Caribou Cup, FA Cup will be in, and the EFL Trophy we're in as well. So we're in a little group with Blackpool, Manchester City's under-21s, and who else was it now? Stockport. So quite, in fact, when the draw was made, the email came through and said Rochdale given a tough group to play in the EFL Trophy Northern section. And there we see all of the competitions that we're going to be in this season. Sky Bet League 2, which is a 46-game season, English FA Cup, Caribou Cup, and the EFL Trophy. The one good thing in this league is that the top 3 get automatic promotion. So you've got a fair good few chances of getting promoted in this league. Obviously, there's the playoffs after that. Nobody really wants the playoffs, but you do get the top 3 spots. And I think to be champions in this league, you've got to be very, very good. So at some stage, not this season, but at some stage, getting 2nd or 3rd, I would be highly delighted with, and try and get into Sky Bet League 1. And I did speak about another lad coming in, 31-year-old. Yeah, I know, it bucks the trend a little bit, but I just thought we needed another DM, somebody who can actually put the foot on the ball, but with a bit of experience as well. So 31-year-old Jordan Tilson, but I'm not going to speak too much about him. He isn't wanted by anybody else. We should get him. Whether we will or not, I don't know. And the club vision for the forthcoming season is, well, work within the wage budget. We've already had a look at that. This season, we can't afford to go over it, because it's not just going to incur the wrath of the board. It's going to incur the wrath of the, well, FFP people. And woe betide us if we cross their path. Grow the club's reputation. Maximum 1-year contract for players over the age of 33. We won't be signing any of those. Grow the club's reputation, attempt to avoid relegation from Sky Bet League 2. So that's the current season, and the board just want us to avoid relegation. Hopefully we can do a little better than that. Be competitive in the FA Cup, be competitive in the Caribou Cup, and be competitive in the EFL Trophy. And just a quick last look there at the finances. We have about £1.5 million in the bank. The transfer budget has not really been touched. 237,000 still in there. It's going to be difficult to spend that now unless I go out and spend it on very young players who don't attract the attention of FFP. I'm still working on 1 or 2 things. Who knows? The wage budget of 51,000, we can't really get near that. Obviously, at the moment, it's saying we're currently spending 41,000, committed spending 42,000, but that takes into consideration the young players who are not looked at by FFP. So I mean, maybe we would get to the wage budget if we brought some really young kids in, but you do have to be careful with that. In this league now, we're going to get a lot of very good teams, and we need to get a balance in there. It can't be all young kids playing, and it is a fairly young side. So that's what I've been up to this summer. I think we need to play a game, and let's see how we do. I don't think it's going to give us the greatest of indications. It's the first game of the season. We're still not gelling particularly well, I don't think. Obviously, because team cohesion's not amazing. But it's against MK Dons away from home. And even the second game is against QPR away from home. I don't expect to win either of these games. But it may give us a little indication of how these players are going to perform and whether they're going to settle in or not. Let's get stuck in. We'll see you in the dugout. Well, welcome along to Stadium MK. 30,000 capacity. We're really in the big time now. And I'm going to go with the third tactic today. We certainly can't be going gung-ho against teams like MK Dons. It's never a great idea in Football Manager to play defensively because you just attract teams onto you. But I think whichever way I play today is going to be, well, probably not right. But it just seems sensible to play control possession. Let's try and hold on to the ball. I have actually moved this formation around a bit. So the team for today is Thomas in goal, back four of Kenlock. The new centre-back, Belongo, is playing as a no-nonsense centre-back today. Graham and the new lad John as right full-back. We've got Gilmore and Diallo as two basically ball-winning midfield players, holding players. We have Francois, the new lad who's come in as a DLP. Rodney's playing on the left-hand side, Bennett on the right-hand side. And we have Simmons playing up front. Because Tyrese Sinclair is very tired and Simmons is going to play a very fancy false nine. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Let's get stuck in. So at least for this first game against MK Dons, they're not playing a flat back seven. They are actually going to come at us, which you would expect. And we are underway, and I have no illusions about today's game that it's not going to go well, I don't think, today. But I have to say, it's very nice to be playing in a stadium of this size, and it is a very, very nice ground. So we do survive a bit of an early scare there, and we do come back to a highlight. So Graham there, throwing the ball forward. Simmons there, in his false nine role. It's in the back of the net. Devante Rodney has got our first goal in Sky Bet League 2. Winning 1-0 at MK Dons. I don't think it'll last, but that was very, very nice. So Simmons there playing as this fancy false nine. Ball over the top. He's moved himself a little bit to the right. The keeper there just couldn't sort his feet out, and it just flicks off to Devante Rodney, and we're 1-0 ahead. Free kick for MK Dons. And that hits somebody on the and it's in the back of the net, and that's a little bit unfortunate. It's been given to the MK Dons player, but I think that flicked up off somebody, and that was a nasty deflection, I think. Let's just have a quick look at that one again. Yes, that was actually, I think that was going wide, but he got a nice deflection for himself there. And MK Dons now very much on top. There's only actually 9,000 in today, which I think for MK Dons it's going to be very, very disappointing. 9,000 crowd in such a nice stadium. And as we move towards half time, we do get another highlight here. MK Dons coming forward again. I think we're doing okay at the moment. We've only had one shot and one shot on target. I think we're doing quite well to hold them at the moment. Whether we'll be able to do that for another 45 minutes or even the end of this first half, I don't know. But a shot fired over the bar there. Last knockings of the first half now. Tomlinson there with the corner. The ball is headed out, so we don't have the greatest tallness at centre back, but we do manage to clear that. Kenlock now bursting down this left hand side. We do have some really good support, and he's got three players there he could have played the ball to, but he decided not to. So we're slowing it down now. I think we're just going to regroup just before half time. Really poor ball forward, and we need to be cutting that out. We'll have to be working on that in training. But we're getting a lot of highlights at the end of this first half, and this is a little bit disconcerting, I have to say. Because if this is a highlight, the chances are this is going to end up in the back of the net. Tomlinson there finds Williams. Williams, ball to Harvey, and what a great save from Thomas in goal. Absolutely stunning save. I think Thomas is very good in the air. We saw towards the end of last season, he's very good at picking the ball out of the air. And he uses his height to great advantage. And we're getting even more highlights. Another corner now. Tomlinson is going to throw this ball in again. I was going to say then, are we going to see... No, we're not going to see more highlights. So we go in 1-1 at half time. So just going to say to the lads, you're doing well. Keep working until full time. Keep working hard. Devante Rodney is very, very, very tired. So we are going to have to look to bring a sub on for him. So just a one change at half time. Simmons is moved out onto the left wing. Devante Rodney looking very, very tired. It's a shame because he was on a 7.3, so a bit of a shame. But we only really have one striker on the bench now. I mean, Cheggers could play there, but he's looking very tired as well. So the young kid Sims gets a chance to see what he can do for us. And the second half kicks off. MK Dons, as you would suspect, 16 shots, 8 on target, an XG of 1.56. And we, as an attacking force, well, it's just not there really. 71 minutes, couple more changes. Bernard, one of the new centre-backs, has come on as a ball-winning midfield player. Diallo looking absolutely shattered. And Gladwin has come on as a left full-back. We do actually have a very tired-looking team, which is a bit worrying. It's only the first game of the season. So moving into the 80th minutes now, I've been absolutely battered by MK Dons. We've still only had one shot and one shot on target, and that's all. And worryingly, in the 85th minute, we do come back to a highlight. And is this going to end up in the back of the net? And that has been given as a corner. So we do manage to successfully defend that one. So I'm guessing now we're going to get about 12 highlights now in the last 10 minutes of the game. That's generally the way that Football Manager works. Ball floated in the box. There's plenty of players there. They do manage to get that clear. There was plenty of players there in defensive positions. But we are now going to be under a barrage of... what's that been given as? Offside, I think. 89 minutes on the clock, 3 minutes of time added on. We can make 5 changes in this league, so that's really good news. Changed both my wingers. So the young lad Emanjo is come on the left-hand side, and Cheggers has come on the right-hand side. Hopefully we can just play the ball to them and they can take it to the corner flag. Fresh legs on the wings. But those substitutions have not been made yet. Nicely picked up there by our centre-back. Sims now with the ball. What's he going to do? He's just going to stand there and give the ball away. He's only a young lad, so can't really criticise him too much. He is chasing back now, though. And Sims there with an absolutely brilliant tackle, but doesn't win the ball. And that's going to get slid across. Thought that was going to hit the back of the net then. I cannot believe we're going to come away with this with a 1-1 draw. If we can, it'd be absolutely brilliant. Oh my word, what a great result for the first game of the season. A 1-1 at promotion chasing MK Dons. Absolutely terrific result. And the assistant manager is recommending, that's a very satisfying result. Nobody gave us a chance, and I don't think they did. And that includes me. And what a terrific result that was. If the lads play like that all season, then we'll definitely get mid-table, maybe even top half of the table. That was absolutely brilliant. Before I forget, I did forget to mention, I asked for some more members of staff and was actually given another scout and another coach. So I hired a defensive coach and another scout. So they are in there now doing their business. The director of football, if you remember, I did hire a director of football. He actually retired. He had another year on his contract. He retired. So I brought a new director of football as well. Hopefully, going forward, all of these changes I'm making will all have a positive impact on Rochdale AFC. Okay, do the usual now. We're going to go off camera. We're going to play a few games, including that Caribou Cup tie against QPR. But who knows? We might go and do them. We've just done a number on MK Dons. We'll see you very shortly. And let's see how we do in Sky Bet League 2. Let's see if we can get a decent position in the league. And certainly avoid that dreaded relegation spot. We'll see you very shortly.